I am Reed. I am 27, just an average dude. I have made tons of money mistakes in my 20s, and now I want to share everything I have learned to help you take control of your finances and your life. All right, man, let me be real with you for a second. I used to be that guy, the one checking my bank account at the end of the month and being genuinely surprised it was empty. Like, oh shit, where did all my money go? I was buying stuff I did not need with money. I did not have to impress people I did not even like. That was my life from 20 to about 23. I was working, but somehow always broke. I had a little credit card debt, nothing crazy, but enough to feel that weight in the back of my mind every single day. And the worst part is, I did not even know what I was doing wrong. I thought being broke in your 20s was just normal. Everyone said, oh, you are young, you will figure it out. But I started looking around and realized most people in their 30s and 40s were still broke and still saying the same thing. That scared me, bro. That was my wake-up call. So I started doing things differently. Not because I am smart, I am not some finance genius. I grew up in a regular family. Nobody taught me about investing or saving. My parents worked hard, but they never had extra money lying around. So everything I learned the hard way by making mistakes and then fixing them. And that is what I want to share with you today. Not some fake guru get rich quick nonsense, just real stuff that actually worked for a normal guy like me. Let me start with the biggest problem I see with people in their 20s. We treat our money like it is infinite, we get a paycheck, and we spend it like there is no tomorrow. We eat out every day, we buy clothes we wear once, we subscribe to 10 different streaming services, we Uber everywhere, and then we wonder why we cannot save. I was guilty of all of this. I remember one month I added up all my little purchases, coffee here, fast food there, a new video game, a couple drinks with friends, and I had spent over $800 on stuff I could not even remember a week later. $800, that was more than my rent at the time. When I saw that number, I felt sick. That was the moment I realized I was bleeding money without even knowing it. So here's what I did. I started tracking every single dollar I spent for 1 month. Not budgeting yet, just tracking. And when I saw where my money was actually going instead of where I thought it was going, I made some changes. I cut out the stuff that did not matter. I started cooking at home more. I stopped buying random crap on Amazon at 2 a.m. Little changes, and within 3 months, I had saved over $1,000 just from cutting the fat, $1,000 just from paying attention. That is wild when you think about it. Once I stopped bleeding money, the next step was building an emergency fund. I cannot stress this enough. Before you even think about investing, before you think about stocks or crypto or any of that, you need a safety net. Life happens, your car breaks down, you get sick, you lose your job if you have no savings. You go into debt, it is that simple. I set a goal of saving 3 months of expenses that took me about 8 months to hit because I was not making a ton of money. I was working a regular job making like $50K a year, but I got there. And let me tell you, the peace of mind that came with knowing I had money in the bank if something went wrong was the best feeling in the world. I stopped waking up anxious. I stopped dreading checking my email because I was scared of an unexpected bill. That alone changed my life. Now, after I had my emergency fund, I started thinking about investing, and this is where I see so many people mess up. They think they need to be some expert stock picker to make money. They watch videos about options trading and penny stocks and think that is the way to get rich. Man, I tried that. I lost money doing that. I bought a couple penny stocks that some guy on YouTube was hyping up, and surprise, surprise, they went to zero. I tried to time the market and bought high and sold low like an idiot. It was a mess. So I stopped trying to be clever. I started doing the boring stuff. I put money into a low-cost index fund every single month, no matter what. When the market was up, I bought. When the market was down, I bought more. I did not panic sell. I just kept going. That boring strategy has made me way more money than all my stupid stock picks combined. And it is less stressful. I do not check my portfolio every day. I do not stress about what some hedge fund manager is doing. I just keep contributing and let time do the work. Let me talk about something that does not get talked about enough. Lifestyle inflation. When I got my first real raise at work, I remember thinking, oh cool, now I can afford a nicer car. I almost went out and leased a brand new car that would have cost me $500 a month, but I stopped myself. I asked, do I need this or do I just want it because I feel like I deserve it? And I realized it was the second one, so I kept driving my old Honda and I put that extra money into my savings instead. That decision alone probably saved me tens of thousands of dollars over the next few years. Every time you get a raise, every time you get a bonus, do not automatically increase your spending, increase your saving. Your future self will thank you. I also want to talk about side hustles because I know a lot of you are thinking, well, I do not make enough money to save. And I get that. When I was making $35K a year, saving felt impossible too. But I found ways to make extra money on the side. I did some freelance writing, I sold stuff I did not need on eBay, I picked up a few hours on the weekend doing something simple. It was not glamorous, but it added up. An extra $200 a week is over $10K a year. That is real money, and that extra income went straight into my savings and investments. I did not use it to buy more stuff. I used it to build my future. You have to be intentional with your money. It is not about how much you make. It is about how much you keep. I know people making $200K a year who are broke because they spend everything, and I know people making $50K who are building real wealth because they are disciplined. The difference is not income. It is behavior. Now, here's the thing that changed everything for me. I stopped comparing myself to other people. Social media is a poison for your finances. You see your friend on vacation in Bali, you see someone your age driving a brand new BMW, you feel like you are falling behind, so you spend money you do not have to try and keep up. I fell into that trap so many times, but I realized those people are probably broke too. They are financing that lifestyle. They are in debt up to their eyeballs. Meanwhile, I was quietly building my savings and my investments and my net worth, and guess what? Now, a few years later, I am the one who is actually free. I have options. I can say no to things. I am not trapped by my bills. While they are still chasing the next thing, I am just living my life on my own terms. That is the real flex. I want to share one more thing that helped me a ton. I started reading, not textbooks or boring finance books, just stuff from people who had been where I wanted to go. I read blogs, I listened to podcasts, I followed normal people online who were just sharing their journey, not the fake gurus selling courses, just regular folks who figured some things out. And I learned so much. I learned about compound interest. I learned about tax-advantaged accounts. I learned about how to think about risk. All of that knowledge added up over time. You do not need to be an expert. You just need to know enough to make good decisions. And you can learn that stuff in your free time while you are commuting or doing dishes. It is not hard. You just have to care enough to do it. Let me get a little more specific about what I actually did with my money because I think examples help. After I saved my emergency fund, I opened a Roth IRA. I started putting in whatever I could, even if it was just $50 a month. That account is tax-free growth, man. If you are in your 20s and you are not using a Roth IRA, you are leaving free money on the table. I also started contributing to my 401k at work, just enough to get the full company match. That is free money from your employer. If you are not taking that match, you are literally saying no to a raise. I do not care how tight your budget is, find a way to get that match. It is that important. Let me talk about debt for a second, because I know that is a big one for a lot of you. I paid off my credit card debt by using the snowball method. I listed all my debts from smallest to largest, and I attacked the smallest one first while making minimum payments on everything else. Every time I paid one off, I took that payment and rolled it into the next one. It took me about a year to clear everything, but watching those balances hit zero one by one was so motivating. Some people prefer the avalanche method where you attack the highest interest rate first. That is fine too. The best method is the one you will actually stick with. For me, the snowball worked because it gave me little wins along the way. Do whatever works for you. Just start. Here's another thing I learned the hard way. Do not loan money to friends or family expecting to get it back. I made that mistake twice. Both times it ended badly. I lost money and I hurt a relationship. Now my rule is simple. If I give money to someone, I consider it a gift. If they pay me back, great. If they do not, I am not upset because I already let it go. That mindset has saved me so much stress. Money and relationships get messy fast. Be generous if you can, but be smart about it. I also want to talk about buying a car because this is one of the biggest money traps for people in their 20s. You do not need a $40,000 car. You do not need a luxury lease. I drove a 2008 Honda Civic with 150,000 miles on it until I was 25. That car was ugly and the AC barely worked, but it got me from point A to point B. And while my friends were making $600 car payments every month, I was stacking cash. Now I drive a nice car because I can actually afford it, but I bought it used with cash. No car payment, that is the move. Buy a reliable used car, pay it off quick, and drive it into the ground. Your bank account will thank you. Let me talk about housing too, because rent is probably your biggest expense. I lived with roommates until I was 26. I did not love it, but it saved me so much money. My rent was like $600 a month, while my friends paying $1,500 for a studio were struggling. I used that extra money to invest and save. Now I have my own place and it feels amazing because I know I can actually afford it. Do not rush to move out on your own if it means you will be house poor. Be patient, your freedom later is worth the inconvenience. Now I also want to talk about the importance of having multiple income streams. I know I mentioned side hustles earlier, but let me go deeper. After I had been investing for a while, I started earning dividends from my index funds. It was not much at first, maybe $20 a quarter, but over time, it grew. Now my dividends cover a few of my monthly bills. That is passive income. Man, your money working for you while you sleep. That is the goal. It takes time to build, but it is worth it. Every dollar you invest is a little worker that goes out and earns more dollars for you. The more workers you have, the less you have to work yourself. Another mistake I made early on was keeping too much cash in my checking account. It felt safe, but it was actually losing value because of inflation. I learned to keep only what I needed for monthly bills plus a small buffer in checking. The rest went into high-yield savings for my emergency fund and into investments for long-term growth. A high-yield savings account is free money. Right now, you can get 4 or 5% interest just for parking your cash there. That is way better than the 0.01% most big banks give you. Take 10 minutes and open one. It is that simple. I also learned to automate everything. I set up automatic transfers from my checking to my savings and investments on payday. That way I never even saw the money. I could not spend it because it was gone before I had a chance to touch it. That is the easiest way to save. Pay yourself first. If you wait to save, whatever is left left. At the end of the month, you will never save anything. There will never be anything left. Automate it and forget about it. Future, you will be rich because present you was smart. One more thing about mindset, I stopped seeing money as something to spend and started seeing it as something to deploy. Every dollar has a job. Some dollars are for bills, some are for fun, some are for growth, some are for safety. When you give every dollar a job, you stop wasting them. I use a simple system. I have a few different accounts, one for bills, one for savings, one for investments, one for guilt-free spending. I put fixed amounts into each one every month. When the spending account is empty, I stop spending. That's simple, no drama, no guilt, just a system that works. Let me wrap this up, man. If you are in your 20s and you feel lost with money, you are not alone. I was there. Most people are there, but you do not have to stay there. Start tracking your spending, build an emergency fund, invest in boring index funds consistently, avoid lifestyle inflation, find ways to earn extra income. Stop comparing yourself to others, automate your savings. Keep learning. It is not complicated. It is just hard because it requires discipline and patience. But I promise you, if you stick with it, your life will change. I am living proof of that. I am 27. I am not rich. I am not a financial expert. I am just a normal guy who decided to get his act together. And if I can do it, you can do it too. Peace.